Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Backpack Trader training room for Monday, April 12th. Excuse me as I get my screen set up so I can see comments. And there we are. All right. And give it a, looks like we've got quite several people say, please do say hello this morning and hit the like button. That does help Troy's channel be recognized by the YouTube algorithm. So, starting with crude this morning, we get a quick long trade here right at 18 seconds after our start time at 9 o'clock. Entry at 60.11, targets 60.29 and 60.40, and money management at 27. It goes quickly up through targets 1 and 2, trails all the way up to 60.53. So a quick one and done this morning on crude, netting 18 and 29 on the two fixed targets. So 47 ticks, not a bad day. Unleaded gas. Oops, that's euro yen. Excuse me. Got the wrong one on top. Let's see if unleaded gas picked up the same one. That's set up a little too early, but it did come down and touch the entry again. It set up literally a second before our start time. And I certainly would be willing to get in sync with a trade like that. And so that would be a target 2 winner for 81 ticks. And a trailer up to 99.01. I'm sorry, 99.09. From our entry at 97.91. So 108 ticks, or 118. 118 ticks on the trailer and 81 on the fixed target is a very nice day on unleaded. With a setup coming within 1 second of our start time, I'm going to assume that's a trade we can take. It went through initially too fast. Looks like 59. About 15 seconds, but it popped up through pretty hard there, and then came back and touched the entry about a minute later. So that should be a trade you would take, and a very good result on that this morning. And if you didn't take that, then you picked up the short and V reversal here. 99.24 for the entry. Target 2 was 75 ticks. and that one is still trailing. So one and done, however you played unleaded this morning, taking the long that set up a second early, or taking the short. I would be almost willing to bet that that long didn't trigger in until after our start time. So it would be a valid trade on our trade plan, as it looks like it initially pulled back just a little bit and then went on forward. Get in sync trade on soybeans sitting at 96.75. This prior long was filtered out by the chop filter, and of course the system is in this long from way back here at 2:30 this morning. But this add-on is valid, and that would be our trade when that opens at 8:30 Central this morning. Pound Aussie currently in the short, called on trade today. My entry actually is at 34, where Kevin's was at 32. And my target, so my money management's at 22, and target 2 at 18 would be 2 positions coming off. But that's just another example of the differences in Forex data. So either follow your charts or follow the trade a day service, but don't try to do both. And the markets have opened. The YM in a early trade, so that will look for a new setup there. And the Russell is currently flat. There's a new potential, and we actually did trigger into the long, and we have a potential stop and reverse would be at 92.50. On soybeans, unleaded gas stopped out, so it is complete. There's an SMA long trade on the Russell at 42.6. Stop at 38.4. Working at the session highs, so this could be a bit of a grind. .50 EMA seems to be holding on the pound Aussie. It also seems to be finding resistance at about 30, right at 34 as well. Those of you using the dark blue trade, diamond level trade off the simple moving average, in my chart case, it's a 20 simple moving average. And there's this gold level traders, that is a short trade for you at 39.9. It's a stop and reverse at 39.7 for diamond level, and has definitely triggered in for either one and hit money management. Stop at 40.1 key level, major key level around the $10 area at 40. And we also stopped and reversed to short on soybeans. Our money management is at 91.50. Actually would push down to 91 even because of our stop and reverse adjustment. Minimum of 6 ticks. And there's money management. And target 2. There is target 2. So 2 positions come off there for 9 ticks. Each. So that's 18. And looking for actually 7 ticks each, 14, because we did stop and reverse. And target 3 is another 12 ticks if we can get there. Stop now moves down now to 92. 92.25, since we're at 92.50 with our adjusted entry. And target 3 hit. So at least 36 ticks so far on that trade. And our short trade on the Russell looks like it stopped out at 39.6 and then triggered into a long at 39.7. And then if you're trading the SMA trade, I don't know, right in there, I certainly wouldn't take that. The SMA trade is designed as a trend continuation, but I would certainly have adjusted that around the 50, hopefully avoided that short. Stayed in this long here. And there's money management on if you did stay in that long. The YM still in its long pre-market long trade. Soybeans stop now to 90.75. And the pound Aussie hovering around right below its 50 EMA. So we'll have to see where that goes. And we would be flat. We would be out at break even on the Russell trade, assuming you were able to stay in the yellow long. The Russell seems to be in noise this morning. Five trades on that little piece of chart between 9:30 or 9:30 start and 9:38. Or actually, just after 9:36. So just over 5 minutes and five trades, each one in the opposite direction. Not a day I would want to be trading that. $89.25 now for the soybeans trailer. Going down beyond target 3. So we're going to be in the 50 tick range. Off of a very small trade, actually. No, we're not. Yeah, we are approaching that now. Stop at 87.50 now. The Russell is flat. The YM is still waiting for its first setup. Crude and unleaded are done. Crude, at least for the 9 a.m. session. And we may not be quite positive yet on soybeans. We were down 68 ticks on the first trade, basically taking a full loss there. with our stop and reverse adjustment. But we're at 26 plus another 13. So we're at 39 ticks now. So still down some. Actually, that's not the right edge of the chart. Okay, we stopped out at 87.50. So 20 ticks on the trailer for 46 ticks total, and we're down 22, and we should, if you're trading through, then you would be long at 13.88 even. Unleaded is done. Let's keep an eye on what the euro yen is doing. It's in a long trade from well before our start time, so nothing there at the moment for us. Okay, the YM stopping out on the trailer of its early trade, so looking for a new setup there. Not much happening right now. Well, I am testing its 20 simple moving average. The Russell dropping rather precipitously there. All of the moving averages coming together and crossing over now on the Russell. No trade in the offering right now for the YM because we've got no overbought or oversold readings. And of course, we just had a successful trade, even though it was pre-market on the long side. So we'll have to get a new oversold reading for a long or an overbought reading for a short. And nothing there unless we get a bounce off of one of the moving averages, which we've got a bar right down to the 50 EMA, so it's possible if it turns back up now, we could get a long off of that. And it looks like now the soybeans just stopped and reversed back to short. Stop and reverse from 84.75. And that put our money management will stay as it's plotted at 83.25. And a 6-tick target 1 there. Not much range today on the Russell, and it's now down at session lows. Just 18 points from just 20 points from session low to session high. 22 points. So that down move went all the way from the session high it just set and just set a new session low. And the YM is pushed down through the 50 EMA and bounced back up to it. So no trade to the upside right now in the offering. And coming up on 10 a.m. crude session in a little over 7 minutes. And the Russell with a long trade $25.3 for the entry. This is one of those cases where it wouldn't be bad necessarily to see a make it pull back and test the lows one more time before jumping into that trade, because that, given that long downward push, looks like possibly a reaction. Okay, this is the test that I wanted to see of the session lows. If it survives this, I would definitely be willing, and comes back up through it, but it didn't. So if you took the long on the Russell, that would be a full stop out. If you waited for a test of the session lows, it would have been a trade avoided. And under 2 minutes to the 10 a.m. crude session. Currently, and the short just hit money management, so that's off the table for a get in sync at the beginning of the 10 a.m. session. And we just got an oversold reading, so we could get a long on the move back upward. Soybeans with target one, money management and target one on the short. And taking some heat on the pound Aussie. Target two on the soybeans trade at 81.75, and we got to 82 even. So you may want to protect yourself with a bring the stop on that one position to target one. And for me, if it comes down to 82 even again, I would go ahead and take the position off. And this time we do get along on the Russell. $19.7. Money management. Smaller trade on the 1.5 point momentum bar. Smaller trade than usual. It was 23 ticks to target one and 36 to target two. Soybeans coming back to target one without ever missing target two by one tick. And looks like the Russell did stop out on its trailer, just barely, at 20.3. And the pound Aussie with another test of the 50 EMA and bouncing up a bit again. And there's another trade off of the 20 SMA on the Russell. There again, that one's the opposite direction from the slope on the 20 SMA, so I would be cautious of that one. And we are past 10 o'clock, so crude looking for a new setup. And the Russell seems to be going sideways now, consolidating its losses on that downward move. Or gains if you were short. Sellers consolidating their gains. And the SMA long did stop out. Market's making me work this morning. Not giving me much to work with. Still no trades this morning on the YM. And yet another SMA trade on the long side. Going right up into the 50 EMA, so that one's another one I would tend to be wary of. 20 SMA just turning. And there is a crude trade for the 10 a.m. session. Long at 60.56, spiked up to the entry, so I would push it to 60.57. Coming up to the entry again on crude. And that SMA trade successful on the Russell, hitting target 2. The pound Aussie slow and sideways this morning. It was active before our start time, but then shortly after 8:30 just kind of died. And it looks like the soybeans trade actually hit its stop. Actually, that would be down a couple of ticks from where it's plotting. So it is flat with a picking up target 1, possibly 2 target 1s, or partial target 2 if you acted when it got within 1 tick. And a couple of ticks on the trailer. So I think I'm going to call it a day on soybeans. So far, that 1 tick adjustment around the spike to the entry has kept us out of the crude trade. Any questions this morning? Not much going on. Russell coming down through a new short. Given the character this morning of the Russell, I wouldn't be trading it, especially with it getting 5 trades in the first 5 minutes in opposite directions. And crude coming up close to our, and there it's hit, crude just hit its entry. So crude is long from our adjusted entry at 57. So 16 and 26 ticks on the targets. Target 1 just 1 tick below the session high there. So since crude has not exhibited any strong desire to break through that session high lately, since the pound Aussie stop is 1 pip below the session high, I would probably push the stop to either 53 or possibly 54 on mine. Yeah, Kevin's showing it at 51, and I don't know what his session high looks like. But mine is showing it session high at 52. And the Russell stopping and reversing to long again. And more noise. A YM chart has done very well if you consider it's kept us out of noise and kept us flat. Not really much in the way of movement to work with. Crude getting close to its money management level. Money management at 71, target at 73 and 83. Crude having little trouble getting through this previous swing high. And with the session high being at 74, just a tick below a quarter on that market, which are usually fairly significant. Definitely tending to take target one and be happy with that. Trade plan is target one is a take profit level and would be a power of quitting trade should we hit target one. We're just kind of stuck 66 to 68 right now. And the pound Aussie taking another shot at 50 EMA. Will it be able to push through it and go down this time? Money management on crude stops to 58 with our adjusted entry. Target one. And the YM with its first trade of the morning, a long at 626. Just got to the entry, go to 627. And that pushes up a bit above a couple of points above the 20 SMA. Make it push through that. Slow going. YM did hit the adjusted entry. Money management at 652. Target 1 is our take profit level at 655. Crude stop at 60.59 now. This is a POQ trade on the 8-tick crude. 8-cent momentum bar. And it looks like pound Aussie rejected at the 50 EMA again. Just more sideways action on the pound Aussie. Looks like there was quite a bit of action on the bridge session this morning from 5 to 8, but boy, since about 9 o'clock, it's gone nowhere. And crude stopping out at 60.59. So the 10 o'clock session is POQ. That's 2 one-and-done sessions for mini sessions for crude this morning. Not much going on. Our YM taking a lot of heat. Pound Aussie testing the 50 again. The longer this goes and just bounces along the 50, the more likely I think it is to break down through it. And the YM taking heat. Stop at 589. It's been as low as 591. Yeah, the YM getting down to 590. One tick away from the stop. And the Pound Aussie coming close to the 50 and then bouncing off again. And the YM stopping out. So with that, folks, I believe I'm going to bring it to a close this morning. The YM is now flat. Pound Aussie is going sideways. And the crude has had 2 one and done mini sessions. Unleaded was one and done. So are there questions this morning? Please do remember to hit that like button. I will be back for our regular Tuesday session tomorrow. I'll usually start around 9:20 Eastern Daylight Time nowadays. I don't see any questions coming up. And if I don't see anything coming up, I will plan on closing it down about 10:40. All right. I don't see anybody posting any questions, so I will see everybody tomorrow. Everyone have a good afternoon and hope your trades go well. We will see everybody tomorrow.